Hoyt's Bowhunting Whitetails is brought to you by Redneck Blinds, Code of Silence Apparel, Hunt Stand Pro Whitetail, Fuse Accessories, Elevate Tree Stands, B3 Releases and Broadheads, and Hoyt.
It's time for the long-awaited debut of the Dream Boat. We think it floats. The motor started this morning. We're here in New Albin at the boat landing. So I think I have to try to back it in. That was part of the agreement.
Take two. You're doing okay. No, you straightened it out too quick.
To see over. So now I can't see out the back. And when it gets straight behind the truck, I can't see out the side either.
Right.
So I just can't see anything.
All right, we'll go a little further back. There you go. You got it.
Hey.
We're at the first camera. I've got 13 cameras out now. So we've got a little bit of a day ahead of us here to pull the cards out of all of these, but we sure had some fun yesterday in Jordan's pontoon boat. I'm sure we'll get some pretty good mileage out of that going to the river, and I mean, I don't see how you can't figure out a way to put a hammock on there.
Oh, I've already got ideas. Like, I'm way ahead of you when it comes to putting a hammock on it. I'm thinking maybe some like inflatable palm trees or some string lights or something just to really complete the ambiance.
I'd say they'll be sending the people with the white jackets with the long sleeves that tie around your body after you.
It'll be fun until then.
Yeah. But well, anyway, welcome to Hoyt's Bowhunting Whitetails. We're going to get back down to business now. We had our little day of fun there, and I have checked these cameras once. I checked them on Tuesday. Today's Friday, the 15th of September. And I have a general idea of what to expect here. We're going to continue to find new bucks, you know, probably for the next few weeks, you know, coming into these cameras. But I know the next one we're going to is an awesome spot. There's just acorns everywhere. That camera was just loaded up with deer. So we'll talk about that a little bit more when we get to that one. We're going to pull the cards, and when we get done, we're going to show you what we've found, and maybe a little bit of a discussion of the first steps of which ones we might try to go after, and some of the patterning steps that we're going to take.
We're here at the first camera watching as Duke and Bentley kind of run around and roll in the grass literally under the cameras, and all we can think is that hopefully the deer don't care too much about yellow lab or golden retriever scent, because there's a lot of it now and those dogs definitely do smell. So
they are the stinky brothers. Oh, the deer don't care about stuff like that. I mean, they've not here. It'd be different if there never had been, you know, these dogs here. But
right, it's like we talked about, I think last week, was it's not like they're not used to us even and the dogs running around up here. It's not like they've never seen people before or been exposed to it.
So So once again, this spot, I think we're going to be able to build our season, early season, around this spot. I really believe that the first couple of days of the season, this is going to be a killer with all these acorns on the ground, the open gate with the standing corn. I mean, this thing just sets up awesome. And we'll do another episode coming up soon where we put a tree stand up and kind of talk about how we're going to set this spot up and how we're going to hunt it. Thank you. There were so many apples on that tree that it actually ripped a branch off and it fell. And they're good. These are the good ones.
Really?
There's just hundreds of them on the ground. So the deer aren't even coming close to getting this one. I'm going to come back later today with a bag and get some of these. I want Jordan to taste it. These are really good. I mean, I can reach probably 500 apples.
These are good.
Yeah. So that's the one that I should come back with the tractor, fill the bucket. Those would be the ones we plant because we could probably reach, like I said, hundreds.
This is a genuinely good apple.
Yeah, it really is.
It's not like quite as like sweet as a Honeycrisp, but if you bought this at the store, you wouldn't say, oh, I got cheated out of my 50 cents. You'd say, it's an apple.
Mm-hmm. No, it's good. Mm-hmm. And interestingly enough, maybe I'll carry the camera down there. Mm-hmm. There's just tons of them on the ground too. The deer haven't got to them yet.
You should take the camera down because I kind of want to see.
You did it.
Yay.
Let's get it pointed down the hill.
Right.
So we go down, forward instead of backward. Okay, don't leave without me.
If we get going, we're gonna go.
Alright, I got it.
Okay. So.
Still running. Now we're just gonna coast down the hill.
Just gonna coast down the hill, he says. I feel like I'm on a roller coaster that isn't up to code.
You might be. This is kind of fun.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it. This is a lot better.
Oh, there we go. All it took was me getting off.
We're gonna take the little tractor, but that thing's not working right either. The power steering's leaking. So I gotta put some hydraulic fluid in the power steering. Seems like most of what I own is just junk, which makes me think that I need a bunch of new sponsors so I can get more stuff. Jordan gave up on me. She needed to get back and run. So next time you see me, I'm gonna be sitting in front of the computer looking at these cards.
What'd you find?
This is the best one that I found so far. And he was up on that ridge by the open gate. So if you start with this set, so the gate is behind the camera. Mm-hmm. So he's coming in from the left. Mm-hmm. And then another evening, again, this was just before the end of legal shooting time, he's coming in from the left again. Mm-hmm. This is on that bend of the road, up on top of the ridge, working that scrape and then standing in the trail.
Yeah, he's really nice.
Yeah.
So is this a Jordan shooter?
That's probably the number one I would like for you to get.
Oh.
Yeah, because I think he's 4. If we look at, let's see, let's go back to this one, you can see this deer
Yeah.
last year. And I think he was probably 3 last year, just judging by this. You know, when you come into a new farm like this, you don't have that history built up where you know exactly how old they all are. But that sure looks like a 3-year-old to me. I don't think he looks any younger than that. This buck was showing up a ton down in that bottom field. In fact, he was the first one that came past that tree stand when Ethan and I went in and hunted it, the scrape tree.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he stopped and made a scrape underneath it and then ran out into the field.
Nice.
So he would be a really good one.
Yeah.
I'd call that one the top Jordan shooter.
Deal.
I don't think I'll try to get him, but if you get a crack at him, that'd be pretty cool.
Bowhunting Whitetails most wanted.
Yeah, there he is. And then there were lots of these kind of deer. You know, I'd say there were, 15 bucks like that. So I call those just generic Jordan shooters. They're not top of the heap, but they're pretty solid bucks.
So in the Bowhunting Whitetails AP power rankings,
He would be a
20 to 25 spot, and the other guy would be like Georgia. Right.
I don't know. Oh, top 25?
Yeah.
This guy would be top 25.
Yeah.
Yeah. He would be, I'd say he'd be number 6.
Okay.
So we got that going for us. Okay. We also had, there was some bucks that I would say were off limits. And these are just really cool younger deer. This was the best one. I think he's only a 2-year-old.
Yeah. Wow. He looks skinny.
Yeah.
Small.
Yep. You look at his neck. The neck's real thin.
Well, not small. He looks huge, but like body-wise, he looks small.
Yeah. And the rack looks bigger because his body's really small too. So sometimes that's misleading too. But still, at that age, to have that much going for him, because he's got at least 5 on his right side, and his left side I know has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's a point in behind that you can't see. So he's like a 5 or 6 by 8.
Yeah, he's got a lot of upside potential then.
Yeah, yep. So if he can be around for another 3 years, I think that's going to be a 200-inch deer.
Yeah.
So he's the one that I'm most excited about for the future.
Yeah.
Not that other ones won't show up, but he's a heck of a deer. Then there's this one, and he's just made cool by his character. He's got more mass, but he's got a bunch of these little sticker points all around.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so if we scale back and jump, you can see like lots of little points.
Yeah.
That deer I think is either 3 or 4, because this was him last year. And we had a bunch of pictures of him last year too, not too far from where I was getting him this year. And he looks like he could be 2 years old there. He's got a little bit of a droop. He was built kind of like a 3-year-old, but his face looks kind of young. Again, it's hard to say. If I had to guess, I don't know, it doesn't matter. He's either 2 or 3 last year, which makes him either 3 or 4 this year. But we're going to give him another year, hoping that he's, just a 3-year-old this year and see what he blows into.
Yeah, it'll be exciting to kind of watch those guys and see what happens. And it's cool to start to have that history kind of accumulating with some of the bucks that you can talk about, like 2 seasons ago, etc.
Yeah, yep. So I think he's got a lot of just character potential.
Yeah.
Again, he's just got some cool features. There was another buck that I thought was really neat too. And this one you'll get a kick out of. This was, camera shows August 11th, but it's actually September 11th of this year. And if you look at him the next day, on September 12th, see he's starting to shed his velvet.
Yeah.
And they've got blood that runs just inside the velvet.
Yeah.
And when their velvet starts to come off, a lot of times they'll get blood all over the racks and stuff like that. So
I didn't know that happened.
Yeah, he's got all over his face.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
That's interesting.
This was him last year. So he hasn't grown a lot either. I would say maybe just a tiny little bit. So once again, he's probably fairly mature. Just because when they don't make a big, score jump, it usually means they're starting to top out. They're probably 4 or 5 years old, whatever. And every buck's a little bit different in how they grow their racks. Some of them make big jumps at different ages. But I would say he would be one that anybody could shoot. You know, like he's open. You know,
Fair
we're not
game.
protecting him. Yep. So there's really only 2 of them that we're protecting.
So far. It's only been a week, right?
Yeah. Yep. And then there's 2 of them that are, I would say, fully mature bucks that I'm going to target. This is, I'm calling him Buck A.
Yeah.
And he's not a high-scoring deer, but if you look at him, he's got a really big body. From last year, he looks almost exactly the same.
Yeah.
You know, just big body.
Yeah.
Rack is never going to get any bigger probably than what it is. So he'd be a really good target, really nice trophy because of his age.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some bucks are trophies because they have big antlers,
Mm-hmm.
but others are just trophies because they're older.
Yeah.
And that, you know, that's something that, you know, you never want to overlook.
Right. It's cool that they made it like that far.
Yeah, and this is another one is just the same.
Yeah.
I mean, again, he's a older deer.
Long tines.
Mm-hmm. We've got the sheds from that buck, the ones that we found, or that one that we found in February down in that valley.
Yeah, yeah.
So he's another one that's very similar, you know, older. This was him last year.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, you look at it and you think, well, it's almost exactly the same.
Yeah.
I mean, he already looked big last year. He's got the short-legged look.
Mm-hmm.
You know, body is kind of rectangle shaped.
Saggy looking, thicker.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So
the kings of the ranch.
that's right. So there's 2 of them that are old, and then you know, this one here, which is, you know, kind of our, you know, I'd say our top of the line.
Most wanted.
Yep. I think he will be a really fun one to hunt because I've got a pretty good idea where he's living. You know, we're not going to dive into a lot of the strategies this week because we got plenty of time to develop that. But this one is one I think we can get on because just based on how he's approaching that camera and what direction he's coming from, I think I've got an idea where he's bedded.
Okay.
Which means that, you know, you can start working your strategies around that.
Yeah.
In fact, the area where I think you can kill him is that open gate that you hunted quite a bit last year.
Cool.
So we'll start planning that. We'll be talking about, you know, which ones we're going to hunt and how we're going to go about it. And every week we'll be able to update on that because, you know, we're going to keep adding more deer. I think we're going to drop an episode midweek this week on Bowhunting Whitetails. Just we had a little extra material from when we were out looking at cameras. But otherwise, you know, at least once a week now, we're going to be going over what we find, what the strategy is for hunting them. We got the interns are getting going. Alex is hunting Minnesota. He's got a non-resident Minnesota license. And then Carson's been finding some really nice deer on camera in Iowa. So he's been able to get permission. And apparently the farm he got permission on is better than the one that I own.
Wow.
Because he's got pictures of some really nice bucks.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So the interns are going to be starting to contribute pretty soon too. And
That'd be fun to follow along too.
yeah, because they'll, you know, Max or Alex hunting public, and then, you know, and Carson, you know, on permission, and some public in Iowa. But
where's Ethan hunting?
he's got mostly permission properties that he hunts, so he should be able to contribute pretty soon too. He's been out of the area for a while. So anyway, the point is, we got a lot to talk about coming up soon.
Starting to get to the excitement's building.
Yep.
Seeing the pictures is kind of what makes it feel real versus like, oh, hunting season's in a couple weeks, but now it's like, it's upon us.
That's right. I want this one.
Yeah.
You know, it starts to get into your blood. Well, good deal. We appreciate you joining us, and we'll see you right back here in a few days for the next episode of Hoyt's Bowhunting Whitetails. And remember to always dream
big.
Big. And we've got something to go along with that.
Dreaming big.
That's dreaming big right there.